There's a big fire in a building in Korea. A firefighter named Hong jumps out of the building while trying to save a civilian. His rope gets burned by the intense heat, and he falls to the ground without landing on a safety cushion. As he falls, his life flashes before his eyes. Miraculously, he wakes up after saving a little girl from being harmed. He gets up and rushes to the girl's family to see if they're hurt, but no one responds when he asks. Suddenly, he hears someone calling his name and sees two people in suits smiling at him through the chaos. Hong tells them to get away from the falling debris, but then notices firefighters trying to rescue a man who looks just like him. The woman, named Chun, tells Hong that he was a paragon before he died and that they are here to help him go through the 7 trials of judgment. The other guardian, named Mac, tells him that their leader is waiting for them at the gates to the trials, and they need to go there right away. Hong struggles to understand all of this information as he slowly walks away, looking at his friends mourning over his dead body. He screams that he can't die now because he wants to see his mother. As he shouts, his body starts floating toward a huge portal. The guardians feel touched that he cares so much for his mother, even after dying. They arrive in a different dimension where thousands of people are headed toward the gates of judgment. Hong meets the guardian leader, Rim, who has helped 47 souls reincarnate in the past century. When Rim congratulates Hong for being a paragon, Hong looks away and denies it, saying he's not a good person at all. They enter through the gates of judgment, but they are then taken to a scary place full of lava known as the Mountain of Murder. Mac is shocked by their location and immediately asks Hong if he ever killed someone. Hong says no. Rim explains that even causing someone's death by not acting can also lead to judgment, which might be why they are there. Hong finds himself in a stadium where large doors on the ground open, showing a giant pit filled with lava. The people being punished struggle to climb out while burning in the flames. The prosecutors start the trial by accusing Hong of not saving his colleague when he had the chance, which led to that man's death. They demand that Hong suffer in the lava pit for 5 years to atone for not saving his friend. Rim defends Hong by asking to look closer at what happened that night. It turns out Hong tried very hard to save his friend, but they couldn't lift the stone trapping him. His colleague then told Hong to leave and save the other civilians. Because of Hong's decision to leave, he was able to save 8 people that night. Rim argues that Hong's heroism should be considered in judging the decision to leave his friend behind. Seeing his bravery, the judge decides to clear Hong of the charges and lets him move on to the next trials. Although Hong wins the first trial, he's deeply affected by the memory of his colleague's death. He wants to know why the Guardians are helping him, as he doesn't see himself as a paragon. The Guardians reveal that they have their own reasons. They made a deal with the King of Hell, Yomra. If they help 49 dead souls pass their trials and reincarnate within a century, they can become human again too. They reach the trial of indolence, where Chun explains all the good things Hong has done. He has never been lazy and always helped others. This includes knocking over a beehive, which made his whole team get stung, and rescuing a grumpy cat that led to him accidentally breaking the owner's Lamborghini. The judge is so moved by Hong's contributions that she orders the prosecutors to immediately build a statue in his honor. But when she asks why he lived life so fully, Hong says it was for money. Hearing this, the judge quickly changes her mind and tells the prosecutors to send Hong to punishment, where a giant machine chases guilty people, crushing their bones and feeding them to the fish. The Guardians do their best to help Hong and ask the goddess to look more closely at his life. They explain that Hong worked hard to make money to support his sick mother and his brother who wanted to go to law school. Hong pushed himself so hard that he often ignored his own health, so his desire for money wasn't selfish. Realizing Hong's true motivations, the goddess sees that he is not guilty because he was only trying to help his family. The group quickly gets on a boat to go to the next location, but they notice that many monsters are chasing them. The team fights off the creatures, using their weapons to defend themselves. They defeat many of the enemies, but the captain gets knocked overboard and struggles to hang on. Mac has to defend the boat alone, giving his leader a chance to recover. In a final heroic moment, Mac strikes a stone pillar, causing rocks to fall and saving them from the monsters. Mac explains that this happened because Hong's family died and turned into vengeful spirits. To stop other monsters from chasing them, Rim decides to visit Hong's family to learn the truth about what happened. He goes to Hong's house and sees that his mother is alive, which means that it was Hong's brother, Su, who died and became a vengeful spirit. The evil spirit tries to run away while Rim chases after him. Rim tries to stop the spirit using his weapon, but the ghost evades his attacks. They clash, pushing Rim away and allowing the spirit to escape. Rim follows the spirit's trail to a military base, where he overhears soldiers talking about Su and calling him a deserter. He notices that the captain and one soldier are hiding something. Rim disguises himself as an army colonel and questions the captain about Su, accusing him of killing him. Shockingly, the captain starts to blackmail Rim, showing fear, which confirms Rim's suspicions that he was responsible for Su's death. Meanwhile, Hong is being questioned by the goddess of deceit. He's accused of writing fake wills for his colleague that he failed to save. He gave these writings to the man's daughter, pretending to be the father. The goddess orders that Hong be tied up and punished by having his tongue cut off. Thankfully, Rim connects with his team through telepathy and argues for Hong's actions. It's revealed that he also wrote fake letters to his mother, lying about how great his life was and how wealthy he had become. Rim explains these letters were attempts to comfort people he cared about, giving them hope that reality couldn't provide. Upon realizing that Hong only wanted to help others, the goddess forgives him, understanding that he never intended to harm anyone. After the trial, Rim lies to Hong, telling him that his family is fine, but quickly updates the team on the truth about Hong's brother. Rim goes back in time to see what happened on the night Sue died and discovers that his comrade, Dong, accidentally shot Sue after turning off the safety. Dong called their captain right away, but instead of saving Sue, the captain decided to bury him and hide the truth to avoid ruining his own reputation. Rim looks at Sue's body in shock, realizing that Sue was not dead, which brings back memories of his own father being buried alive. Meanwhile, Hong finds himself in the hell of injustice, where people stay frozen for years to pay for their crimes of not helping others. Luckily, since Hong is a firefighter, he won't be judged here and can move on to the next location. While riding in a cable car, it's revealed that the Guardians have had their memories erased except for Rim. Mac tries to stop his teammate from sharing more about their limits, but accidentally lets slip that Hong's brother is the vengeful spirit. Once Hong realizes this, he becomes very upset, shaking the entire realm and breaking the cable car, nearly causing his Guardians to fall. But Hong manages to control himself just in time and offers to help his teammates. The three arrive in the Hell of Betrayal, where a beautiful goddess judges people who have betrayed their loved ones by trapping them in a mirror and shattering their victims. Hong manages to safely pass through this place because he was a paragon in his lifetime and never betrayed anyone. Meanwhile, Rim finds the vengeful spirit in a nightclub, where he's trying to kill one of the soldiers who buried him alive. Rim immediately pursues Sue, and they engage in a fight while flying through the city. Rim catches the spirit by setting a trap and binding him to a building with a magical rope. He tells Sue he must forgive his killers to be reborn, or he will be destroyed forever. This reminder of being buried alive and betrayed angers Sue, causing him to scream and break free, creating a shockwave. Meanwhile, after drinking a lot, Dong decides to tell Sue's mother where his body is, unable to bear the guilt anymore. The mother follows the map to discover where her youngest son is, while Sue watches from behind her. Sue goes to Rim and tells him he has decided to forgive Dong because of Dong's guilt and the information he gave to their mother. Sue begs Rim to let him speak to Dong one last time, promising to go through the trials afterwards. The spirit talks through Rim and tells Dong that he forgives him and advises him not to waste tears on the past. Meanwhile, Hong reaches the Hell of Violence and sees a giant hole that they must jump into to reach the trials. He falls into the hole and crashes onto a giant rock, but Mac catches him and lands beside him. However, Hong accidentally causes them to fall again. Mac rushes to help Hong, who tries to save a girl from crashing, just like he did before he died. Luckily, their fall suddenly stops just before they hit the bottom. The trial of violence begins, and the prosecutors accuse Hong of beating his brother in high school. This was particularly terrible because Sue was malnourished due to the family's poverty. They point out that Hong never sought forgiveness after the fight and left home the next day, never to return. The judge decides quickly that he is guilty of violence toward his family, planning to send him to a pit where people are hit by rocks as punishment. Seeing this, Chun urges the judge to pause the judgment and look at the final trial with the current one since they are connected. This is risky because if Hong is found guilty in the next trial, the Guardians will lose their powers in the afterlife. Unfortunately, the Guardians learn the truth about what happened that night. Sue woke up to see Hong kneeling by their mom and asking what Hong was doing. Soon, he discovers that Hong was trying to smother their mother with a pillow. In an attempt to stop him, Sue gets hurt when Hong lashes out in anger. Hong was feeling helpless at that time as their family was very poor, and his mother was seriously ill. He believed that the only way to end their suffering was through death. This guilt is why he ran away, never returning. After hearing this story, the Guardians feel hopeless, realizing they may not win the trials, especially in the final hell of impiety. Meanwhile, Rim is trying to guide Sue toward his body so he can finally start his reincarnation journey. At the military camp, Sue is shocked to find his mother there, begging the soldiers to help her reach her son's body. When the captain sees her, he rushes over, tearing her signs and pushing her down, causing her to faint. When Sue sees his mother being attacked by his killer, he becomes furious and turns back into the vengeful spirit. He breaks free from his restraints and throws Rim away with great force. Sue's rage becomes so intense that he transforms into a massive tornado, engulfing all the soldiers and opening a gateway to the afterlife. The vengeful spirit creates chaos while Rim desperately tries to save everyone from being harmed. Luckily, Mac charges through the portal into the living world and attacks Sue, stunning him. Rim then uses this opportunity to capture Sue with a magical rope, finally stopping the rampage. Meanwhile, Hong's trial begins as King Yomra decides to be the judge. The king charges Hong with attempting to murder his mother and beating his brother during such a tough time. The king reveals that Hong's mother knew about his attempt to kill her but kept silent about it, making his crime worse. The king declares that Hong will be punished forever in this hell for trying to kill the person who gave him life. Suddenly, the entire realm begins to shake as a voice speaks to Hong's mother. It turns out that Rim has used his power to let Sue speak to her in a dream, where he apologizes for what happened. Sue tells her that Hong has worked hard for 15 years to support them since that night, feeling guilty for his actions. To Hong's surprise, his mother says she forgave him a long time ago and apologizes for not being able to provide for her children. Hong hears this and starts to cry, which touches the king as well. The king decides not to punish Hong anymore since the victim has already forgiven him, allowing Hong to be reincarnated. Hong thanks Chun and the Guardians for their help during his journey before disappearing into the bright lights. Back in the living world, Rim chooses Sue as their 49th soul to help fulfill their deal with the king so they can also be reborn. The group arrives in the Hell of Impiety, facing numerous demons, and charges forward to confront the King of Hell. So, what do you think about this movie? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed my video, please like and subscribe for more. I'll see you next time.